Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 76 of the Uncommon Commentators. Thank y'all so much for joining us. It's your boy, Antoine, with your main man, Garrett. How you feeling today, Garrett? It's Thursday night as we pump this out. Y'all know how we do. Talking about some basketball with the playoffs among us. And we got some awards to discuss, too. But how's your Thursday been, man? How's your week, too, man? Most definitely.
Yeah, it's been good, man. This week has gone by real quick, but hey, it's almost Friday. Tomorrow will be Friday, so I'm excited for that. And these playoffs is winding down quick, and we do have a lot of things to talk about. And of course, we have some interesting other stuff to talk about with the first team all defense, but I'm gonna hold it until we get there. But yeah, glad to be here, brother.
Nah, most definitely. Yeah, man. People been popping that hot take shit all year. You feel me? So it's time to go ahead and whip out some of those receipts when we get the chance to. You feel me? But gotta go ahead and react to some of the awards first. Most recently, gotta give a shout out to Shea Gilgeous Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He did win the 2025 MVP award for the 2024-2025 NBA season. Got to give a shout out to him. Winning that award at 26 years old is a very substantial feat. He averaged about 32.7 points this year with around like with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. The 6'6" point guard did. Also led his OKC team to a regular season record. They're pretty sure it was 64-18. They ended the season. That's where it was 68-14, something like that. So they had a really great regular season, and obviously they're doing what it does in the playoffs right now against the Timberwolves, literally as we speak. So, how did you feel about SGA winning the award this year? Did you feel like it was well deserved? With Nikola Jokic and Giannis coming in second and third place. Or did you feel like he deserved it this year with everything that he did for OKC, especially taking them this far into the playoffs right now, as we've seen?
Yeah, I think he definitely deserves it because, he's been in the running for, at least, 2 years at the very least. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not surprising that he won. And to be honest, I mean, even though that I wanted, Nikola Jokic to win it, it's not really out of popularity per se. It's just the fact that with Jokic, just knowing the player that he is and how important he is to that Denver Nuggets team. But at the same time, you can say the same thing for SGA because to be honest with you, this is not only did he win MVP this year, but it's very possible that he could win his first ring at age 26.
Yep.
So it's not really surprising to see the, I would say, the progression or the progress that you have seen from this OKC team from last season up until now. So, well, like I said, I think that they will make it to the finals, and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, SGA, he's been on a complete tear this year, and he's been playing like an actual MVP player. He right now is averaging 32.7 points per game, averaging 5 rebounds and 6.4 assists. And we all know that he is a really good defensive player as well. So, he's a guy that is a triple double threat on any given night. And, just the fact that he does what he does as a point guard at 6'6". And of course, we're seeing other great point guards that come and gone throughout this league, but it's just the fact that SGA, just knowing that without him, OKC probably wouldn't be where they are now. So I had to tip my hat off to him. So it was very well deserved. So I know a lot of people wanted him to win last year, but of course it was given to Jokic. But now this year they finally gave it to SGA. So big congratulations to him, and I'm pretty sure this is not going to be his only MVP award. I think that he'll win more to come. So, but yeah, first to many more.
Absolutely, man. And like, I love how you really described everything what he's done so far. Because me personally, I did want to dive just a little bit into his story. Originally being a Clipper with the 12th pick in the draft. He was a part of that Paul George trade, with the Oklahoma City Thunder
I have to
originally.
say that happened to
Mm-hmm.
be one of the worst trades in NBA history as
Mm-hmm.
I look back on it. I'm sorry.
Because personally, I did want to ask you, like, do you think that Shea would have gone on to been this kind of player either way? Or do you think going to Oklahoma, playing with Chris Paul as a mentor really helped him? Obviously, CP3 definitely did something for him, but do you think even if he would have stayed in Los Angeles and just played with Kawhi and just developed out there in LA, do you think he would have went on to the superstar point guard that he is today?
I don't know if he would be the player that he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that the trade didn't work out in terms of the I would say for the Clippers per se, because of the fact that they didn't win that trade at all, and they gave up so much for that to happen. So, but I think for SGA to go to OKC because during that time they were still building, they were going out to build young. So I think that it was just for him just to go out there, get all the minutes that he could get. Nobody wasn't staying in his way, so he just went out and just did his thing. So I think that really helped him develop to the player that he is now. If he stayed in Los Angeles with Kawhi and other guys, I don't think that he would have. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been as talented as he is now. I just don't. I just think that the play that he is now, I think that just would have been delayed further in his career rather than what he is right now.
Mm-hmm. And Wiley, yeah, I would love to hear what you got to say about Shea, man. The former Kentucky Wildcat. You feel me?
I don't represent UK. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us. Shout out to Shea. Well deserved. Definitely one of the better. I would say one of the better back and forths when it comes to an MVP race, because again, when we discussed, about a month or so ago, we were up in the air with it. It was just that much of a back and forth between him and Joker. Exactly. But congratulations to Shea. First off, Garrett, to your point when it comes to the Clippers, you know why this looks bad? Because it's the fucking Clippers. It's the Clippers. Like
I mean, it's like you gave up SGA, then you gave up like 4 first-round picks.
Because
like 5 and then 2 first-round pick spots just on top of my head, something like that. Hey.
It's because they're the Clippers. Hard stop. They didn't deserve that straight. They kind of did though. But my only issue with this is why the fuck did the NBA take so long to announce this? This is normally been announced somewhere in the second round, normally early in the second round, since this is a regular season award. Like, you motherfuckers knew who won already. Go ahead and announce it. Like, why did we have to wait this long to find out who the MVP was? It was only 2 people. Go ahead and announce it. Get it out the way. That was my only issue. Other than that, I have no problem with who won it. It didn't matter if SGA won it or Joker. It's just more so, get this shit out the way so we can enjoy the playoffs.
And I kind of did want to say, I feel like it kind of goes with what I mentioned a couple shows ago when I asked y'all, do you think that the MVP should be a regular season award or if they should consider some of the playoff performances in it? We just saw that the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets just went 7 games. I do 100% think the votes came out that SGA had it pretty comfortably by a pretty comfortable margin. It was like Jokic had like 787 and SGA had I think it was around the 900 number. So he had it by a landslide almost. So he was definitely going to win it. But I do think that probably has something to do with it. Because to Wiley's point, they never, ever, ever, ever wait till the conference finals to try to make it like a big thing like that. Take attention away from the conference finals to really, really try to use a spot in between the second and the third round and really try to announce it. Really, sometimes after the first round. Sometimes it's rare they take to the third round.
Just get it out the way. Get it out the way. Like, because that's what most people are talking about at the end of the season. All right, season's done. Who's the MVP? Yeah, we got rookie of the year, coach of the year, defensive player. All that's out the way. Who is the MVP? Go ahead and give it to us so we can move on and actually enjoy these playoffs.
It really is a cool ass award, man. When you think about that shit, man, it's like for me to really think about like for the player itself, especially so young at 26 years old, to be like you're walking, like you've seen so many players. You're growing up watching basketball. You've seen so many of legendary superstar players that you admired hold that trophy, have that like award, have that speech, and now like you really became like, especially like you literally have to separate yourself from the entire league to win that award and to do that, especially that young, like, you know, like, do you think the MVP really can, like, it's really like the best player in the world that year? Because of course some still consider it Jokic, but yeah, like, how do you feel about that?
It's subjective. But also I saw that the mayor of Oklahoma City declared the SGA Day for May 22nd. And I'm like, you've had two MVPs that built this shit from the ground up, and you didn't give it to them.
I think with Gilgeous-Alexander, I think they were devastated.
Antoine,
I mean, hey, come on now. I'm literally just providing some insight or maybe as to reasoning why. Never, ever trying to maybe like, I guess, rationalize or give an excuse, maybe just trying to give some insight. I think that they were devastated after they lost that era, especially in the way that it ended with Kevin Durant leaving to go to the team that beat them. Russell tried. We saw him win the MVP. Like Wiley mentioned, you really would have thought Russell would have got a day, especially after having stayed after KD and all that. And then he held the team down. They were a 6th seed when he won the MVP award, averaging a triple-double. He did that 4 straight years at one point. So
why not give it? Why not? Again, these between KD and Russ, like, they helped build this. They built this brick by brick. And yeah, KD left, Russ left, but still, like, you didn't think at that point that either of them deserve their day in OKC. Like, they're the reason. They are strictly the reason why OKC was popping at that time the way it was, and why. And now, I don't want to take away from the organization, because they know how to build the team.
Sam Presti is amazing.
And that's why this team continues to look the way it does now, even after KD, Harden, and Russ left. But from the mayor standpoint, my guy, you've had two of the biggest stars that ever crossed this city play in your city, and you do the shit for SGA. Like, if I'm KD and Russ, I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
And my last point to that, of course, before you give your 2 cents, Garrett, because of course can't wait to hear that as always. My last thing about that to finish the point was I mentioned the era of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook initially, because obviously that was a really, really special era. Even if you weren't fans of Oklahoma, it was just really cool to see a team of that magnitude really have 2 superstars. Could have had 3 if they didn't let James Harden go, of course, to the Houston Rockets. And I only mention that because I think with SGA, how he came in and fulfilled the gap like that, relatively quickly. You know, Russell left. I think he left in 2019. They got SGA like the next year. He came over averaging 20 points a game. Well, 19 points a game. And then the next year he took off averaging 23, 24. And then by the 2023 NBA season, he was averaging 31 a game at that point. So I think it was the fact that SGA really came in. It was such a beacon of light for them. They didn't really experience that area of darkness. Don't let those draft picks fool you. That was really like a part of Sam Presti's genius, along with the SGA trade. It really all came at the right time for them. They got the draft picks from the SGA trade, then they got SGA. He took off, and they got the draft picks as well. And Jalen Williams himself was like the 12th pick. He ended up being a sleeper star, and they got Chet. They already knew they were getting the number 2 pick. So this really all came at the right time for them, and that all started literally with SGA in that trade. He was the first one to touch the floor out of their first 3-star players that they do have now. So I think that's why. And like, they know with him being 26, he's, his future is so bright and they're going to pay him. He is eligible for a massive extension now after winning the MVP award.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I really just wanted to, I guess, give that insight because I do feel what Wiley was saying, but him getting an SGA day is pretty substantial. That's remarkable, to be quite honest. So, and to think of a reason why, I think it's the reasons I just said. I think they know how bright his future is. He's about to lead the city of Oklahoma for at least the next 9-8 years. SGA at 33 is going to still be pretty good. SGA at 34 is still going to be pretty good. So I don't see him leaving Oklahoma as of right now. They're the front runners to have, of course they have to win one ring first, but they're the front runners to have a dynasty and stuff like that. But before we move on to the defensive first team, I just want to get your closing thoughts on SGA because it really was a great year for the former Kentucky Wildcat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think really for me it goes beyond just him winning MVP. Honestly, a lot of people know his talent. Everybody knows what he's capable of doing. So, like I said, it's not a surprise that he won MVP. So I think, and really, it's only going to be a matter of time before he was going to win his first award. But for me, what I'm looking forward to in the playoffs now is, can they get the job done? And I think that they can. So it's now like, and be honest with you, I mean, I think this playoff, this year's playoffs has, caught a lot of people off guard. We mentioned Boston and Cleveland making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and neither team made it. And I know that Boston, they were dealing with injuries with, Jason Tatum, of course, and then Jaylen Brown, but Cleveland, they couldn't get the job done. So a lot of things have stuck around, but I think for OKC it's just more so, can they get the job done? And really just because not only could they win, this year's championship, but the fact of the matter is that they don't have to stop where they are right now. And to be honest with you, it would, I wouldn't say it would be dumb, but to me, I think it would be unwise for Sam Presti to not continue to build out this roster because of the fact that they could still do a lot more with it. They could still go out and make the roster a lot more competitive. Like, okay, if what they have now is their ceiling, which is a championship caliber franchise, if they happen to win this year, then the fact of the matter is that they still have a lot of assets with draft picks and other things in their back pocket where hey, for example, they could go out and get a Giannis this offseason if he requests a trade. I'm not saying that they should. I'm just saying that, okay, if you think this OKC team is dangerous right now, I mean, the fact of the matter is that, hey, they could still go out and get another top 10, top 15 player to pair with Chet Holmgren and SGA. So that's just the scary part about me. So, and to be honest with you, I think Sam Presti, deserves a ton of credit. He's incredibly smart, and just the way that he's built his roster, having a keen eye for talent. I mean, I gotta give him his flowers. But yeah, like I said, congratulations to SGA. He deserves it, and let's see if they can go all the way and get it done this year.
Yeah, man. And it's so crazy because Sam Presti got the job in 2007.
Wow.
The year they got Kevin Durant. So he's been on this almost the last 20 years over in Oklahoma. Yeah, man. So just had to give credit to the Oklahoma City franchise. They look great this year. And before we end on the awards, of course, got to give a shout out to the all defensive selections. Our boy, Dyson Daniels, DD, was on the team. He was the youngest guard to be selected. You already know how it goes. Was definitely he's like the first Hawk in over I think on 27 years since like Dikembe, to make an all defensive first team. The fact he did it at 22 years old, while also being the most improved player and the literal runner up for defensive player of the year, lets you know what kind of season he's gonna have next year. But of course, gotta give a shout out to the whole team. They all look good this year, man. In my opinion, like Evan Mobley, of course, like he looked great. Obviously, we did see Cleveland get bounced out in the first round, unfortunately. But still, though, got to give a shout out to Evan Mobley, Luke Stort, who's playing right now, of course, for OKC. Draymond Green, who's unfortunately got bounced out as well with Golden State. I think it's his 9th time making an all-defensive selection. So, amazing achievement for the future Hall of Famer. And Amen Thompson, again, another young star on the Houston Rockets. So just got to give a shout out to the whole defensive first team. They all look good. In the second team as well, Ivica Zubac, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jalen Williams, of course, another OKC player. And Tsunami Kamara of the Portland Trailblazers. And surprisingly, on the second team, Rudy Gobert. You know, you normally see him on the first team, but you can definitely make the case that Draymond and Evan Mobley, they both had really good years this year. So, yeah, man, I definitely want to get your reaction to the all defensive first team, especially knowing our boy was on it. And I know he had a lot of doubters this year, apparently. The steals weren't enough. So I'd love to hear your reaction, most definitely.
Now y'all know I'm about to come in here with vengeance. Y'all know what's about to happen.
Let's
Now
get
everybody, y'all see my social media handles, all right, on X and IG, but mainly you want to go to my X handle, all right. So now everybody knows what the deal is, okay. Now we have a clown. We have this clown Hawks fan talking about Dyson not making all NBA first team, this and that. Y'all know what it is. So y'all know what the deal is. So yeah. So and this has been happening for ever since Dyson arrived. Oh, Dyson, he ain't gonna make first team all defense because look, I'm gonna give you a little backstory. So this took place around media day, right? And Dyson mentioned that his goal was to make all NBA first team, and I said, hey, he'll get there. Then of course I had this clown come up in here and give me the 3 laughing emojis, like, oh, it's all jokes. He ain't gonna make it. Don't worry about it. Okay, cool. Like I said, this been going on since last year in September. Then now we're here. Okay, so we fast forward today. So now anybody that knows me, okay, and a lot of people said it in the comments too. Now I screen recorded a clip of him saying he's not gonna make all NBA first team, talking about if he leads the league in assists, in steals, he's gonna make second team, blah blah blah, whatever.
I got you, young brother.
Yeah.
He probably if he leads the league in steals, he'll make second team like DeJounte.
Let's get shit cracking, man. Get this shit started right. You feel me? This shit started right.
Yeah. So basically, saying he's not gonna make all NBA first team, blah blah blah. Bottom line is I keep my receipts, okay? And I knew this was coming. Jay, shout out to my boy Jay, because he knows. And when you go into the comments, everybody said, bro, he got his receipts, this and that and the third. Look, I do not play. If it's like, okay, this is what you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire. So I sent that out. A lot of people got a lot of reactions to it. I appreciate everybody. But today I heard nothing but crickets. I couldn't even get a reaction out of him. He didn't want to, man up to it. He didn't want to like take accountability or anything like that. I knew he was going to act that way anyways. But no, my boy Dyson Daniels, I am glad that I was able to meet him for the first time a month or two ago. And no, I already knew that he was going to make all NBA first team because of the fact that when you look at the impact that he was, this season on the defensive end, being able to get stops. There's so many things that he's accomplished. I can't really go over everything, but it's just a fact of the matter is that this is what he's accomplished. This year as a first-time starter, making first team All NBA defense, and also winning Most Improved Player and was the Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. So just be able to do those things as your as a starter for the first time, I think it's very, very remarkable. So I had to stand up for my boy Dyson. I ain't gonna let nobody just come up, run up, and talk all this mess. Nah, we standing on business. So, but yeah, I'm very proud of Dyson. It was no surprise. So I got my boy Dyson, the Gray Bear Thief.
Hell yeah, man. He had a great fucking season. I mean, there's nothing else that
Sure
really
did.
had to be said, man. I think that a lot of people just like to be skeptical. For whatever reason that may be, I can't really give you a reason, like whether it's out of pretension, or they just feel like they might have watched basketball for a long enough time to think that, oh, like it's too good to be true, or this player can't really maintain this performance all season. And I really thought, like, once it hit like February, I thought like, nah, like, there's no way like he's about to slow down. He played great. It's like his first game in the Hawks uniform, literally. So yeah, man, like either way, that just goes to show you like the kind of year that he had. I was talking shit about him all year, and like it's just really cool to see him like he literally leveled the playing field with that DeJounte Murray trade, and the fact that we got draft picks out of that alone is just like another massive bonus. And it literally like replaced DeJounte like jersey number, position, and everything. Whether in like literally he showed better performances on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, whether, of course, he's getting better shooting the three. But overall, he increased his total from 5.8 points to 14. He averaged almost 5 assists a game this year, around 5 rebounds and like 3 steals. So he really almost averaged like 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists with 3 steals in his third year, really basically damn near his second year, because he didn't really get to touch the floor like that in his first year, So really goes to show you, man. And like from the verbiage he showcased during his exit interview, he does intend to stay with the Atlanta Hawks. He likes his role here. He came in, he even said during the Most Improved Player Award speech that when he knew he was going to have that starting shooting guard spot in Atlanta, just about really showing what he could do. And I do think the Hawks are going to pay him. 100% they're going to pay him. And he makes enough money off the court alone. And I do think that off the camaraderie and the team chemistry, I think they're all going to want to stay together regardless, because they all know, like, they all got their starting spots. They're all around the same age. So they just got to see what they can make. And keep in mind, not Garrett, of course, because he knows this, for you all, that they were the 5th seed when Jalen Johnson got injured. They were 22-19, just as the 5th seed, along with all those other teams, the Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers, all those teams in the middle of the pack. So losing their second best player, as we've said over and over on this show at this point, really hurt the Hawks. And at this point, going into next year, on paper, we do have a really good team, if I do say so my fucking self. You feel me? So but yeah, gonna go ahead and move on to the second topic of tonight, though. Gotta react to these playoff games. Of course, they've been pretty amazing. I'll be pretty honest, this probably has been the best playoffs I've seen in the last like 5 or 6 years, like series per series, even starting off with how like the Clippers and the Nuggets, like that went 7 games, and then the Knicks and Detroit, I'm pretty sure that went 6 games. Of course, there were some sweeps like with the Celtics and the Magic, stuff like that, but for the most part we've had thrillers like with Cleveland and the Pacers. Not more so the series like the series tallies, but like the endings, like with Tyrese Halliburton coming alive, hitting game-winning 3-pointers to send home the number 1 seed. And we just saw OKC and Denver. They went 7 games themselves, 2 MVP candidates facing off on the world stage like that. So I have thoroughly enjoyed this playoffs. I think it's been amazing. I'm pretty sure even Golden State and with the Houston, they went 7 games too in the first round. So it's just Houston got blown out at home. So I've just really enjoyed this playoffs thus far. But keeping it with the second round, the most recent results, The Denver Nuggets have gone home, unfortunately. Gotta give a shout out to David Adelman. He officially got the job today. I'm really happy for him. He took over at the end of the year, unexpectedly for sure when he got the call. After Michael Maloney was there post All-Star break, it was like maybe a week before the playoffs started, and they let him go. So happy for David Adelman to get the job, most definitely. I thought he looked really good. Winning a playoff series on the fly like that is really, really hard to do. And he took OKC 7 games. They should be really happy about the future of David Adelman. We'll see what happens with Nikola in the post-game press conference. They asked him, does this team still have what it takes to win a championship? He said, obviously we didn't, so we don't. That bluntly. So I don't think he's going to leave Denver or anything like that, but we are going to see what happens with players like, Michael Porter Jr., who some thought he didn't perform that well. Aaron Gordon did suffer an injury. Of course, he tried to play through it, but I don't think AG is going anywhere. He was averaging like 17 points and 7 rebounds throughout his playoff run. So I want to start out with Denver because, of course, we can get to Cleveland and their disappointing exit as well, especially losing 4-1 at that to the Pacers. But starting out with Denver, though, in the second round, where do you think Denver goes in the offseason? And what pieces do you think they could add, or do you think who should go? And what do you think happens with the Nuggets this summer?
It's a big question mark. I think really, I don't think that they need to really do too much, honestly.
Mhm.
Now, of course, with the CBA rules and the cap and cap space and all of that, they may be forced to possibly trade one of their core players. Now, I'm not referring to Jokic or Jamal Murray. You may hear trade rumors involving Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. or Christian Braun or something like that. Um, so if they're just trying to like shake the roster up a little bit, then that's why I say a player like Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. I think those are more realistic trade targets, you could say. But honestly though, if they are able to find a way of just adding more defensive minded players, then I think that that's where they can get back onto the right track, because after losing Bruce Brown and KCP, they just haven't been the same defensive, team that they used to be when they won the finals a couple of years back. So if they're able to just find defensive key role players, around Jamal Murray and Jokic, then I think that they're able to get back on track. Now, as far as how they're going to do that, I'm not sure. And that's why I say they may have to trade Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. to accomplish that. But of course, they could go through some smaller deals. Of course, they could do that through free agent signing. I'm not sure. I've seen briefly the free agent list, so I'm not sure what players that they could sign or whatever the case may be. But of course, they could get involved in some moves on draft night as well. So possibly, trade in the draft or whatever the case may be. But no, I think for Denver, as long as that they have Jokic and Jamal Murray as their 1-2 punch, then I think Denver, they're always going to be in the mix of competing for a championship, and I think that's all that comes down to it. So as long as they can just revamp their defense, then I think they'll be back on track. So I don't think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but like I said, I think it's just going to be tricky of how they're going to do that without really breaking up their core players, because I know that they want to keep the band together, but that's kind of the same situation with Boston, for example, because due to the fact that their payroll is so expensive, there's just no way they're going to be able to keep all their core players, meaning, of course, we know Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, we know those guys will safe, but as far as guys like Drew Holiday, Chris Porzingis, Derek White, I it's most likely two of those three are going to be gone. And it's not just because they can't contribute, it's just the fact that they just can't afford it. So, like I said, it's just, and that's where the CBA comes into play, where it's forcing teams to, I guess, level out their roster to where you can't um, really build out this big three or big four super team or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. But no, it'll be interesting to see. But it's just the fact that we're going to see a lot of movement this off season, so we just have to wait and see. But I think for Denver, they just have to tighten a few screws, and I think they'll be back on track.
Yeah, and I agree. They have about 52 million in cap space right now, according to Spotrac. So, we'll see who they really try to pursue. I agree with what you said when they lost KCP and Bruce Brown. I think that's really what they can really try to improve on. Really, like their wing depth, their front court depth. Really, this summer, I like Christian Braun a lot. I think he's only going to improve going into next season. He's a really, really good bright spot for that team. But I think maybe like it's funny because Bruce Brown, they could get him again this offseason, I mean, because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. After making $23 million basically from the New Orleans Pelicans, they could pick him back up. Tim Hardaway Jr. will be available if they can get him from Detroit. I'd be shocked if he left, seeing what they're about to build over there. And he's one of their big pieces, being a good veteran for them. Luke Kennard as well from Memphis. He's a good guard as well. They can still shoot. I think Denver could still use the jump shooting, especially around Nikola. Seeing how he still is averaging 10 assists a game, he can still make everyone around him better. So as long as they have Jokic, obviously, I think they're going to be perfectly fine. Similar to what you said, I just think their main priority should really just be to beef up their defense next season, because you're not going to see many teams be able to beat them on the offensive end. They just need to be able to improve their two-way side of the ball. So that way, like at least like they'll be better down the stretch, and they won't get like blown out like in the game. Will just get away from them like how it did in the game 7 where they lost to Oklahoma. And ending with the Cleveland. Now, I did mention during our last show that obviously Kenny Atkinson did win Coach of the Year after the phenomenal season he had in his first year with the Cleveland Cavaliers from the sideline. But I did say if he does lose in the first round, they will look at him a little sideways. And he did. It's they put the Lakers after they won. Not facts. No, you're right, Jay. I do agree. And like again, like with Cleveland, I don't necessarily think this puts him in the hot seat, but I do think they are skeptical of his abilities. I don't think it matters at all what he does in the regular season going into next season. Seeing how they lost to a lower seeded team like that, at one point they were fully healthy and they were still losing to the Pacers. So, I mean, man, like it's just a disappointing season for the Cleveland Cavaliers, obviously, after what they did. But seeing how the Pacers are playing right now against the New York Knicks, and we're going to get to that pretty soon. I can't wait to talk about that, of course. What do you think happens with Cleveland, man? They just had their coach win Coach of the Year, but they didn't make it past the second round when everyone thought it'd be at least conference finals or bust. They at least had to make the conference finals to make like, okay, they can only build off this next season with NBA finals or bust, but they didn't even make the conference finals. Even after even after the game they didn't have Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, they still got 48 points from Donovan Mitchell, and that still wasn't enough. I mean, game winners from Tyrese Halliburton, all these heroics from the Pacers. And we're seeing the same heroics in the Knicks series now. So I would love to hear. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and let Wiley go, and then Gary, I guess you chime in after. Wiley, where do you think the Cavs go this offseason?
I don't care about none of that. I just wanted to come on here and say, I told y'all that the Cleveland Cavaliers they look great. They look great during the regular season. That's all fine and dandy. You have to prove it to me in the playoffs. I do understand that Darius Garland was not fully healthy, but also that team, the way that team roster was constructed, like you were supposed to be able to push on even with Darius Garland out. And yeah, I just wanted to come over here and tell y'all. I told y'all that the Cleveland Cavaliers, as well as they look, they had to prove it. Like, and I say that because of the fact that we've seen Donovan Mitchell when he was with Utah. We see what we know what type of player he is, and then you put all these pieces together, and these pieces while they fit, they actually fit, but they weren't playoff ready. They couldn't make the adjustment. So you damn right on quoting Jay. But it was just the fact that they couldn't make the adjustments. Kenny Atkinson didn't make the adjustments. So of course it's a trickle down effect. So and then it's to the point of we know that Donovan Mitchell is a person that if a team's going on, let's say they're up, a team starts to go on a run, Donovan Mitchell can get you a bucket. That's cool. But the thing is, it's everything after that. And the defense didn't look good. Like everything just kind of fell up. The wheels literally fell off as each game went on.
The adversity.
And then even I was like, because even so the game that they lost, the first game that they lost, and Darius Garland wasn't there. I was sitting there like, damn, was Darius Garland that much of an impact? And it seemed like it was. But I'm like, but also again, when you construct a team that the way that you did, you go to Atlanta and you trade for
DeAndre Hunter.
You trade for Hunter. And I'm like, damn, at least from a defensive standpoint, at the very least, you muck it up and make it hard for the other team to score. Like at this point, we go back to those 90s, that 90s type of basketball, and where the score is below 100, and you gotta outmuscle us at this point. You have to outmuscle us at this point. Like if they could have done that, I think they would have been fine because. Again, you have Donovan Mitchell who can fuck around and catch fire, and he had some terrible shooting games, but the games that he went off, like it wasn't enough, unfortunately.
And like, of course, Garrett, obviously you're next. I did want to say two things. First, because Jay can attest to this too. Back when we first started the show, I think it was near the beginning of the season, maybe like November, something like that, January maybe. We were talking, and like that's when OKC and Cleveland were on their streaks. And we were talking. We one of the topics was if Cleveland and OKC faced off versus each other, who would win? Me personally, back then, I said I think OKC could beat them 4-1 in a series. You feel me? Yeah, man.
I enjoyed that conversation.
I think they would have beaten 4-1. You feel me? I think I don't want to say like sweat, but like I do think playoff wise, because I mentioned the adversity, because I think that's what it was. It psyched them out. They didn't expect to fall apart like that. When you look good all season like that, and everyone around you just starts just crumbling out of nowhere like that. They didn't really know how to prepare for that because they didn't foresee that happening.
Because the game slows down tremendously once you get to the playoffs. Exactly.
And you're playing the same team over and over and over. And when they get that momentum, like it's over when they're able to adjust to you. And the last thing I want to say, of course, before I know Garrett's going to give an amazing take, because I want to say this for Garrett goes. It's pretty funny. They started comparing that Cleveland team to the 2015 Hawks team that won 60 games. First and foremost, I just wanted to remind people. Because that shit pissed me off, yo. Like I just wanted to remind people. First and foremost, we won 60 games that year. Yes, we did. The Atlanta Hawks. I was in high school. I was a junior that year when that happened. We made the conference finals. We did our job. I get it. We didn't win a ring or anything like that. But you know why? Because we lost to LeBron James. You feel me? I'm perfectly fine with losing to LeBron James.
Yeah, so why you had it go?
You know, man. Because I had to bring
Hawks was always the middle of the road team. That was just.
But hold on. Because see, we were different. You feel me? Because our whole starting lineup, for one, made the All-Star team. That's the first time that ever happened. Like we didn't have
a outlier season, dog.
I mean, we won like 17 games in a row at one point that year. Like we were like literally on fire.
It goes back to what Wiley said. You can do all that you do in the regular
Nah, for
season.
sure,
But when
for
you come
sure.
in, but when you come into the playoffs, it's a different animal. See,
Absolutely.
I've always known that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the fact that when you compare that Hawks team compared to Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
that I think that Cleveland team. I don't know. I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying that
Mm-hmm.
I think Cleveland was a much stronger team compared to that Atlanta team due to the fact that, for one, because the issues that we had back then,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't rebound for anything. When we faced Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't lose, we didn't get swept just because. I mean, yeah, of
Just
course
the
they had
3-point
Kevin
shooting
Love,
was just
LeBron,
yeah.
and Kyrie.
Channing
It's not just
Frye.
that, but the fact of the matter is that we couldn't rebound, we couldn't match their physicality. I mean, both Al Horford and Paul Millsap was getting outworked by Tristan
Channing
Thompson
Frye,
alone.
Kevin Love.
That's one of the reasons why. So I mean, with Cleveland, I mean, and they were really, I think they were, really, matched well with Boston, but obviously, they didn't make it either. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
to Wiley's point, and I've always known that, but with Cleveland, they just did not perform the way that I thought they would.
Right.
And it's like they carry all this momentum from the regular season to the playoffs, and it's just like it was
Mm-hmm.
all gone in the vacuum.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think happens this postseason with Cleveland? Wiley, of course, you can give your 2 cents too.
Mm,
Obviously, they have an amazing team on paper. They have a solidified star players, damn near superstar Donovan Mitchell, defensive player of the year, reigning defensive player of the year with Evan Mobley, who's bound to have a great year next year. Darius Garland still, Jared Allen still, DeAndre Hunter, all these players. Like, where do you think they go? Starting with Gary, you can go first, bro.
I mean, they could stand pat, man. They could run it back again. Now, that's just me speaking in theory. Um, it's kind of going to be, and I'm not really expecting them to, break their core players like we may expect from Boston. Because don't get me wrong, with Evan Mobley winning Defensive Player of the Year, that was great, but obviously he's going to be earning a lot more money than he's making now. So obviously that's
Yep.
going to affect their flexibility in upgrading the roster. Now, if anything, I think they would probably upgrade their bench depth. I think their starting five is very solid. I don't think that they're going to. I mean, if anything, that they could trade, Jared Allen for somebody else. I don't know, but I just think that where they are right now, I think they just would rather upgrade their bench and then run it back. I think that they're going to give Kenny Atkinson another shot. I don't expect them to fire him. I don't think that they would do that. Now, I think that what you're seeing around the league, and I said this before, but you're starting to see around the league now where teams their tolerance has shortened with
Mm-hmm.
coaches. So it's just like, hey, we'll give you a year or two to prove it. And if it's like, okay, it's not working, then we're gonna cut our losses and on to the next one. So I think they'll give Kenny another year, and then at
that's
that point, if they can't make it to the finals or to Eastern Conference Finals, then either is where he will be officially on the hot seat and they fire him mid-season, or um, that they can fire him right off the spot. I'm not vouching for him because I do love Kenny Atkinson. I do respect, his philosophies as a coach and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But no, to Wiley's point, and that's what the playoffs are all about, is about making adjustments because things change consistently, and so that's what's going to determine, I guess, how far you can make it to the playoffs if you're not willing to make changes, because you have coaches that stick to one thing and that's what they're going to do, so they're not going to change anything. So but no, I think if Kenny Atkinson is willing to make changes into the playoffs, then I think that's going to help him become a better head coach than what he is now. But yeah, I just, again, if I think they'll look towards to improving their bench and running it back and see where it goes from there. So
yep.
hopefully the players, they do learn from this, and hopefully by next year when they make it to the playoffs, then hopefully you get a different response.
Yep. Wiley.
I agree. I agree. Like, there's really not a whole lot that they need to do with that team other than beef up the bench a little bit. Like you said, if they do make a trade, I wouldn't necessarily trade uh what's my boy again with the fro?
Jerry Allen.
Jared Allen.
Jared
I wouldn't
Allen.
necessarily if I don't have to, I do not get rid of him. I like him as
Oh
a
yeah,
big.
yeah.
I like what he's the type of big that you need on the team, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. But yeah, beef up your bench a little bit more. I would say look at your coaching staff. Like
Mhm.
I would that's probably where I would look outside of the bench. Other than that, there's not a lot that they need to change. So
Mhm.
I'll hang up and listen.
Nah, man, always love hearing from you. Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. Like, it really isn't much they need to change. I agree with Garrett, and that was part of my sentiment 2 shows ago. I was like, man, like, we know how cutthroat this league is nowadays, man. Michael Malone won a ring 2 years ago, and he's calling games in the middle of halftime right now, man. Like, I mean, man, like, seriously, not like that's a bad place to be by any means, but he
Cold world. Cold world.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And also, I just want to give my reaction to that. I don't think that was a shot at Nikola when he said, I think SGA showed why he's the MVP. I think he was truly being I don't feel like that was a shot, man. I don't think he'd be like that petty. Nikola won 3 of them while under the tutelage of Michael Malone. So like I didn't yeah, man. Plus also he will get picked up this summer. I'd be shocked if he didn't get picked up this summer. He like I said, he just won a ring. Obviously, getting fired will make him reevaluate his coaching methods, maybe calm down a little bit from that rumored yelling he was rumored to be doing all the time, apparently. So I definitely think he'll calm down and it'll flourish in a new situation where he'll have a chip on his shoulder after being fired from the team he won a championship for. But moving on to this round, of course, before we get on to our final topic for the evening, just got to give a reaction to these game ones for these current Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals. Gonna give a Western Conference finals reaction first. The Timberwolves and OKC are currently facing off right now, literally, but we do know that OKC lead the series at the moment after defeating Minnesota in the first game. SGA played like an MVP with 31 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds to defeat the Timberwolves in game 1. Anthony Edwards was really critical of his own performance. He even said, I only shot 13 13 fucking shots. I just had to be better. And I'm pretty sure he's taking a more aggressive approach, literally, as we speak right now, as the Timberwolves literally trail only 3 points before halftime, 53-50. So they're definitely having a better performance tonight than they were in game 1. So it's already off to a better start in game 2 for the Timberwolves. But how do you feel about this series so far? And who's your early pick in the series since it's already upon us right now?
Yeah, I think OKC are the favorites, and I think they'll go ahead and win this series for sure. Now I don't know. I think Minnesota, it just depends on tonight's game, honestly, to determine who wins this series. Because if they win tonight, and because Minnesota, they are a hard team to beat at home. So if they win this game and they go back home and split the first 2 games, then we may see a game 6. I'm not so certain it'll be a game 7. It's just a matter of can Minnesota keep their head above water, because OKC, they're one of those teams like, hey, if you're down 2-0 or 3-1, 2-1, then I think OKC, they're one of those teams that's like, yeah, they're going to close it out one way or another. So it's just a matter of Minnesota, keeping up with them. I think that's what it is, because this is not the this is not a Golden State, series or anything like that. So OKC, they just have the ability to, beat you in any way. They can go small, they can go big, and like I said, they just are so good at what they do, and they just know how to play well off of each other. So
Right.
that's why I say if they win tonight, then I think their chances are solid. But if they go home, down 2-0, then I don't really see Minnesota coming back into the series to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, man, I agree. And like I said, man, like we're just at halftime as we speak. Oklahoma is up 58-50. So in those 2 seconds that you just gave your breakdown, they damn near increased the score to double digits. So
I'm trying to tell you.
Nah, like we'll see what happens. I really hope that they can pull it out. Of course, the Atlanta native, Anthony Edwards. I do want to see that go 6 games, 7 games. They are down right now. Going back down 2-0 to Minnesota. Of course, they can come back, win 2-2. But it's gonna be really, really hard beating that OKC team 2 games in a row. Not let alone 4, just 2 games in a row. It's gonna be really hard to do that. And ending with the Knicks and the Pacers. I'm looking forward to this shit all night because like watching that last night was
Man,
like that was.
I just want to say something real quick because literally I was out and about last night's game, game 1 with the Knicks and the Pacers, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this because I literally had to go back to the game log.
Yeah, the
And just look
play-by-play.
at the play-by-play, the score and the play neck to neck. How in God's name you're up 9 points?
Right.
9 points with 59 seconds to go. Now we all know that anything can happen. The game is not over until the final buzzer sounds. Now it's not like you're up double digits. It's not like you're up 20, 30 points or whatever. You're down. I mean, you're up 9. Okay. Now, if you play it right, I mean, you give yourself a chance to come back to the game. And it's just the fact of the matter is that you're up 9 with 59 seconds left to go. And and everybody knows the biggest shot of the game was Tyrese Halliburton making that last shot. It's not just the fact that he made it, it's the fact that everyone, and I saw a video where this next fan, he was at the sports bar. I think he was in Indianapolis, and he literally called game when Tyrese Halliburton, shot the ball, it hit the rim, and he thought it was game over. And then the ball went straight up and went down, and now you got overtime. And then it's like, dang, what just happened? And then you lose still. I mean, and to be honest with you, Indiana, they've been playing very, very, very well. And I think this may be a sleeper team that a lot of people may not expect it. So, I mean, I don't know who to pick in this series. I don't know if it's going to be Indiana. I don't know if I need to pick them or the Knicks. I don't know. I'm not saying Indiana is going to sweep the Knicks. Anything. I think this definitely could go to 7 games, but it's just the fact of the matter is that I got to tip my hat off to Indiana because they did not give up, even though they could have. But they hung in there. So it was just crazy how how all that ended. It's just crazy.
I agree, man. Like that was probably one of the greatest game 1s I'd ever seen in my entire life. I've been watching basketball a long ass time. Of course, Wiley might think I'm over exaggerating or whatever, but like that was one of the greatest fucking game 1s I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I'm just die on that hill, man. Like it had everything. Like I think the score itself was 136-135 for Indiana. And it just had everything. It had drama. It had great plays for dudes that enjoy like the X's and O's, stuff like that. It really just had everything. Like even when Tyrese Halliburton, like when he thought it was a 3 and he hit the choke, like saying the Reggie Miller man, and it's just like it literally just had everything. I love seeing players like show their egos on the floor because they have to be so obviously so media trained for the camera. Some players let you know, like a Kobe Bryant, like a Michael Jordan, like a LeBron, they'll let you know like they know they're that dude and stuff. But I love seeing like these new players like really have the moments that that give them their ego, like that give them that confidence boost needed to thrive on a stage like that. And like, man, you work on them shots when it's quiet in the gym, and now you're hitting them shots in a sold out arena in a playoff game in Madison Square Garden. Like they make it look easy when you're hitting shots like that. And like it was just so poetic how it went up. I thought it was over, then it went down, and especially because I thought it was a three. I thought he won that shit at first, man. I thought he won that shit for real, man. And it's so ironic.
Hell, we all did.
For real.
We all thought he won this shit.
I was jumping up and down so fucking, and I'm not even a Pacers fan. It's so crazy because Tyrese Maxey last year for the Sixers had an incredible performance against the New York Knicks in the Madison Square Garden for the Philadelphia 76ers when they had no Joel Embiid. They won that game. He was hitting like logo threes from in New York. And so it's crazy to see another Tyrese, another star point guard, doing this to the Knicks in the Garden like this. It's really crazy. And also, the last thing I will say just before, because of course I would love to, Wiley, of course, if you have anything to say. I think it's super poetic because, again, the storylines, my favorite part about the whole game. I love the storylines over everything, over the star players, over everything. I love the storylines. We know that the last time the Knicks had this much confidence around the team, it was during the Carmelo Anthony era. And we know that when they made the second round, they faced off against the Indiana Pacers during the Paul George era, and they lost to the Indiana Pacers. So the Pacers went on to lose to the Miami Heat. Pretty sure that they went 7 games with LeBron that year anyway. So it's just crazy to see how the Knicks and the Pacers, after the whole 80s and Patrick Ewing stuff, and now the Carmelo Anthony and Paul George, they're back here again with 2 star point guards going at it like this. So, and 2 star big men as well with Pascal Siakam and Karl Anthony Towns. So, how'd you feel about that legendary, in my opinion, legendary game 1, Wiley? And how do you feel about the series thus far?
Watching that last play, I was like, yo, like it looked like he had the lane. And then when he fucking ran back to the 3-point line, I was like, oh, he about to shoot this. It wasn't a shadow of a doubt that he was about to take that shot. But by far, that had to been the longest, however many seconds. It had to been a good 1 to 2 seconds that ball hung in the air and dropped in that hoop. And I was like, yo, like that shit was nuts. Because I'm sitting there. I had wrapped up my other podcast, and to see that, and I was like, yo, like what just happened? But I mean, that just seems to be a New York type of thing. It seems like everybody just loves to get that shit off when they in the Garden.
Mm-hmm. But it sucks. Like, I didn't even mention before you even go. Aaron Nesmith hit 5 straight.
Oh, yeah. And that was the fucking catalyst. That was the catalyst that got the shit going. So for New York to be up that big with that little bit of time, and then you have Nesmith just fucking start going off, and you keep, for whatever reason, they kept playing under the screen. And I'm like, yo, he's hit multiple threes. Like at some point, you have to you have to fight over that screen. Like stop being lazy, stop the bullshit, fight over that screen, and make it difficult for him to either get the ball or get the shot off. One or the other. Like you have to make him put that ball on the ground, because by now he's caught a rhythm. He's caught a rhythm. He has the confidence. So he's about to shoot this bitch. If he touch it at any point, he's like, yo, if I touch this bitch again, I'm about to shoot it. So that loss for New York, that's definitely on New York. Like the turnover, like they looked like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing from the last couple of minutes in the fourth quarter and all through overtime. Fucking Jalen Brunson damn near giving the ball away, trying to throw it off. I think it was Siakam. He tried to throw it off. He missed, and it just so happened OG was able to recover it. But it's just like they completely broke down. Like in overtime they got up like 5. And I was like, well, this might be a whole reincarnation of New York winning after Reggie Miller gave the choke sign and they lost. That wasn't the case. Like they got up 5 and then the bottom completely fell out for New York.
Andrew Nembhard hit that 3-pointer from the corner, and it was over after that.
And then I know OG's beating himself up because he missed that free throw.
Man.
It was just so many things that happened that it was just like, yo, the Pacers was about to win this shit. and then eventually they did. As far as the series itself, I have the Knicks in 7.
I have Indiana.
I would love for this shit to go 7. The way if this series plays out like game 1, if we get anywhere close to a game 1 throughout the entire series, like every game throughout the entire series, yeah, give me all of that. But the thing is, the Knicks have to realize that this Pacers team they're willing to get down and dirty with you. Like, yeah, you're the New York Knicks. Your fans are off the fucking rails. But when you're playing a team like the Pacers, like you really have to lock in as a fucking team and play ball. Like at this point you can't have any missteps like that. You have to take care of that was the main thing. You have to take care of the ball. And that was one of the things that they did not do last night in that game. They did not take care of the ball well, and we saw what happened between that and hitting free throws. If you hit your fucking free throws, this game is out the way. Karl Anthony Towns, nothing has changed since you left Minnesota. You still foul for no reason. I don't know what the fuck it is about you and fouls. You love to foul. I don't know what it is. Get it together. Jalen Brunson who doesn't foul like that, had 5 fouls last night, and of course his game had to change from a defensive standpoint. Jalen Brunson is probably one of the. Of course, he won Clutch Player of the Year, but he's one of the players that ignores the whole analytics portion and knows how to get to his spot. And that spot for him is that mid-range. And I love every bit of it. He's one of the few players in the league who relies on that mid-range and will know. He knows how to get there. He knows how to use his body, the footwork, and he knows how to get his shot off. At this point, it's just more so everybody around him has to get their shit together. Of course, with him, he has to control his fouls, but I think for him that's just a one-off. But like I said, I have Knicks in 7. I selfishly want this series to go 7 because of not only the history but what we just got in game 1.
Mm-hmm. Nah, for sure. I picked the Pacers before the game started. They happen to win that game, but we'll see how the series goes. But Garrett, man, I would love to hear what you have to say about this series as well, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with Wiley. I would love to see it go to 7 games. I would lean towards the Knicks, even though that they lost game 1 in a heartbreaker. But I think that they will make their adjustments. I think they will tighten up. So I think that the Knicks, I think they can still, win it. But I just think that with Indiana, they are showing that they're not going to go down without a fight. They would go toe to toe, and they would do it until the final buzzer goes off. So, until that happens, they're going to continue to fight. So they're not a pushover. So, but I think if the Knicks just really, realize that, and that they learn to execute better down the stretch, then I think they'll be fine.
Nah, I agree, man. For sure. Like I I think we do get another classic in game 2. I think just off the wills of both teams. I think Indiana is going to try so hard to take that game 2, knowing that they can do it. Why can't they do it? That's what they feel like. In New York, going to try.
They did it. They did it against. They did it. Who?
Everyone, the Bucks, the Cavs. So they did it
against the Cavs. I'm like, they took them first two, and I was like, what the fuck?
Serious, they've been kicking doors, taking shit, and going home with it. Like, I really think, like for this, like, man, if they go in and they like, it's like, I will say this: if it's close in the fourth quarter, I'm for shit sure thinking Indiana can maybe beat these dudes like 4-1, man, because like they got the defense, they have the depth, and they have the star power. And like Halliburton is right; he had 31 points and 11 assists with 1 turnover. Like he's playing flawless out there. Like, and he's doing everything up until the final bell. He's doing it. This is what you have to do to go this far. You have to raise your game and have these legendary performances. So he's doing it right now. He already got that extension, that 5-year extension. So I mean, at this point,
you know who's jealous of Tyrese right now? I ain't shit. Y'all's boy in Atlanta.
Oh, I know.
Trey Young.
He's not some hater, bro.
Hey, Trey Young is fucking punching the air like fucking in Boys in the Hood. Like Trey and Boys in the Hood. He's punching the air right now. Like, nigga, this MSG is my spot. I'm supposed to show out.
He actually tweeted about that too.
I know it. That's
about that too.
But no, it's like, does he internally? For sure, maybe just a shred of a little bit. But if I'm him, I'm not tripping because I've done that shit so many times.
But he ain't done it. He ain't done it on this stage though. He ain't done it on this stage. The stage.
Yeah, I mean, like, yo, in the playoffs, like the 2021 playoffs, like he beat the Knicks 4-1. That's when they had Julius Randle and all that. Like, he definitely busted their ass.
Julius Randle. Don't you know?
Randall. It's not like Randall. Yo, Randall.
You know I had beef with Julius Randle.
I mean, because he was averaging like 24, 9, and 5, I think, that year. So, like, you know, I'm
just fucking around, man.
Of course.
Like that again. That shit was just it was just amazing to see. And like I said, for whatever reason, whoever's playing the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, they loved it. It's like I don't know what it is. Of course, you know, the lights seem brighter and motherfuckers just perform. Perform.
It's just the stage. Like, you know where you are. It's New York City. And like, also, Trey's done it in Madison Square Garden and he's done it in TD Garden too. If we want to, because, you know, you get the game where
that's not the same. That's not the same. That's
and
not
all that. I mean, it's pretty hard to hit a game winner against that Boston crowd. Best believe it's in them home quiet.
TD Garden's not the same.
You know, I mean, they're both pretty deadly, but, you know, either way, it's a good series to end it. Like I said, I do have the Pacers. I think they will win. I think it does go 7 games. I'd be shocked at this point. We'll see if Indiana loses game 2 or like how New York. Of course, they're still a good team. New York, they were winning the fourth quarter. They just, you know, because I don't want to say I don't think it was a collapse by New York. I think it was a comeback by Indiana. I think, you know, I mean, man, like in moments like last night, like they really, anytime a player ever does something like that, I utter 3 words, like professional basketball player. You feel me? Like, because people don't understand, like, you're getting paid fucking millions to shoot that ball. Like you have to, it has to be such fucking muscle memory at that point to like, especially if you if you're hitting 5 of them, like 5 of them motherfuckers.
You talking about Neesmith? You talking about Neesmith?
Yeah, I'm talking about if you're hitting 5 of them motherfuckers in a row like that, that's like.
But he caught his rhythm.
That's like just substantial. Like that's like crazy, you know. Like one, I mean, in his mind, he's thinking, "Nah, give me this shit. Like I'm gonna pull up and take it. It's white. Nah, I'm hot." He's making it. Right. It's not. It's like he's pulling up and it's a heat check. Nah, he's one. I mean, OG's flying. He's cashing in his face. Like,
that's on OG for playing under the screen. Like I will give you 2. You got 2 times to hit. After that, I'm about to fight through the streets. Like you about to fucking work for any other shot that you get.
And man, like at that point, it was a great performance all around from the team. It was incredible. It was so many moments. Aaron Nesmith, who shot 43% from 3 on the regular season, held true to that in the playoffs, which is extremely hard to do, especially on that stage. So game 2, I think game 2 is on Friday, so it's tomorrow. We'll see what happens, man. But I know Wiley had the third.
Yes.
Yeah, you got the third topic for us, so we can go ahead and get this rolling. You know,
let me go ahead and give me the rock. Give me the rock. I got it from here.
You feel me?
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Clutch or Choke. Yeah, we're a little bit behind just because of last week. We missed last week, scheduling purposes. Don't worry about all that. But we are here. So here's how we're gonna do it. I got a few questions. We're gonna go pretty much I will ask the question. You can steal if the person gets it incorrect, the other person can steal. If you both get it incorrect, we move on to the next question.
All right.
And then I also have so these are multiple choice and just a full-on guess. Now, don't get nervous. These are fairly. I feel like you guys should know these. But
are you calling me a casual if I don't?
Give me I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 5.
4.
3.
Garrett goes first. Number was 2. All right, Garrett. For the first question, who holds the record for the most NBA Finals MVP? This is not a multiple choice. I feel like you should know this.
Most final MVP.
Most finals MVP.
MJ?
Anthony for 3. Bang! That one goes down.
Good shit. Garrett up 1-0. All right. Antoine.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the first player to hit an elusive triple-double season?
The first player?
Yes, the first player.
Oscar Robertson.
Anthony for 3. Bang! That
one goes. Fucking with me, taking too long.
That's right.
Come on.
All right, we won 1-1. All right. Which player? This is for Garrett. Which player was the first to win 2 NBA Finals MVP awards? This is multiple choice. So you got Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Willis Reed, or Larry Bird.
Okay, say that question one more time.
Which NBA player was the first to win 2 NBA Finals MVP awards? Again, it's Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Willis Reed, Larry Bird.
Wilt Chamberlain?
Bird.
Oh, you too?
Damn, it's not Larry. That's fucking. I mean,
the answer is Willis Reed.
Willis fucking Reed. Okay.
All right, Antoine.
Yeah, I guess the fucking Knicks. Right.
Yep.
Right. They won 2. Yeah, man. 71, 73.
All right. Another multiple choice. Which NBA player was the first winner of the NBA Finals MVP despite being on the losing team?
Oh,
the answer,
Jerry West.
oh, you got it.
Anthony for three.
That was like 1967.
Come on, I hear you. I hear you, big dog. All right, Antoine's up 2-1. Garrett, during the 1997 NBA Finals, Phoenix Suns tied to stay alive against the Seattle Supersonics in Game 4. In order, they ended up hitting a last second 3-pointer. Who was the guard? Your choices are Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson, Rex Chapman, Steve Nash.
Come on.
Jeez. Okay, what were the choices again?
All right, in the 97 NBA playoffs, the Phoenix Suns stayed alive against Seattle Supersonics in Game 4, and it was by a 3-point. It was by a 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Who hit the 3-pointer? Was it Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson, Rex Chapman, or Steve Nash?
Steve Nash.
Can I go?
Antoine for the steal.
All right, but it was KJ. It was KJ. It was like the floater.
You were so confident in that.
No, fuck it.
Yeah, I was like,
it's Dan Marley.
Nope, it was
Right.
Rex Chapman. I remember that. I was living in Florida and was watching that, and I went outside immediately and mimicked that shit. Like that shit.
Kentucky.
If you look at like the history tapes or any of the highlights, that was the pass that he caught. It was like damn near what looked like an overhead catch, and like it was like a catch, and he shot that motherfucker damn near what was on the run.
He has a crazy story too, Rex Chapman.
Yeah, he does. He's so
Crazy.
And he's, well, I haven't seen him on Twitter late, but he was super active on Twitter, and yeah, he does have a crazy story.
Crazy story.
All right, so this one is going to be a back and forth, and we'll go until somebody misses.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 10 teams that have never won the NBA championship. Name them. So it's going to be one. It's going to be 1 for 1. So you name one, Garrett, and name one.
The Utah Jazz.
All right, Garrett, your turn.
The Hornets.
Yep.
The Orlando Magic.
Yep.
The Kings.
Kings are not on the list. Kings. Now,
Kansas City Royals.
Yes, they probably won as the Kansas City Royals. All right, so Antoine, you got it. You got that. You got that point.
Grizzlies, Memphis.
No, I'm saying you got that point. So I'll run down the rest of the team. I'll run down the rest of the team. So you got the Nets. You named the Hornets, the Pacers, the Clippers. You got the Grizzlies, T-Wolves, Pelicans, Magic, Suns, and the Jazz.
The Hawks, baby. The Hawks ain't on the fucking list, man. Ain't on that list, man. 1958, but they ain't on that list, man.
All right. We got one more. We got one more back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Antoine, you are up a point. There are 10 players that have scored 70 points or more in an NBA game. Name them. Name
all
one.
10?
No, name one.
Oh, shit. I mean, most recent, Luka Doncic scored 73.
Okay. Yep. Garrett.
Devin Booker.
Yep.
Antoine.
Kobe Bryant.
Yep. Garrett.
Yeah, he got that one. I don't know.
What? Think before you give up.
Wait a minute. Wait.
70 plus points. 70 or more.
I got one in the chamber already.
Okay. Oh, Will Chamberlain.
There you go.
David Robinson.
Yes, David Robinson on my list. So we have knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've knocked out 5. Got 5 more.
Juice that went the fuck off.
Garrett, who you got?
Good Lord.
It's hard. It is, man. It's only 10 players.
Some of them have been recent.
It's
Some
hard,
of these
man.
have been within the last like 5 years.
I mean,
because I don't think he did. I don't think he did it either.
Give it a guess.
LeBron.
No. I wish LeBron would have.
Yeah, I
If
figured he wasn't.
LeBron would have scored 70 or more, man, the internet would never have stopped.
his highest was like 61,
Yeah.
62.
Mm-hmm.
Antoine, can you name one more just for shits and giggles?
Name one more. Fuck, man. I'm trying to think. Because one was like a no-name player. Nah, that was Sadiq Bey.
All of these players are known.
Nah, I was thinking
Yeah.
Sadiq Bey had like 55 points or one night or some shit. Fuck. I'm trying to think. Because he took Devin Booker. That's the other one I was thinking of. Like I said, Luka has 73. 70 plus.
Oh, maybe. Well, maybe I know one.
Fuck.
Who you got, Garrett?
Come on now.
Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, you got the point. You already got the point, Antoine. You said what?
Whatever.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
I was gonna say fuck, man.
Y'all are missing one, and he's been the most recent. I think he was the most recent. When did Luka score?
That was like a year ago. That was like last season.
I know those setting points came against us though. I know that.
So y'all missed Joel Embiid.
Joel.
I remember that because when they told when KD was in his interview, he was like 70. But who else? Y'all missed Elgin Baylor, Michael Jordan, and Damian Lillard. Oh yeah, Damian Lillard and David Thompson. Sorry,
David Thompson, Skywalker.
I think David Thompson got that. I want to say he got his 70 points for the scoring title. Like he was going to get somebody against scoring title. Actually, no, David Robinson got his 70 points for his score. To be honest, I feel like
Thompson.
I want to say they were going against each other that year for the scoring title. I had to look that one up.
Because I know Skywalker's prime ended in like 82 or something like this. He was on hard drugs, stuff like that. Yeah. Before he went to Seattle.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad, fellas. Y'all didn't do too bad.
No, for sure. Hey man.
Antoine's up around. So Antoine, you take this round. You take the conference semifinals. We still have the conference finals and the finals left. And if y'all are tied, then we'll go into a sudden death or overtime type of deal. But nah, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all know a little bit.
I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Man. I will go ahead and step away so we can close this thing on out.
Yeah, this was a good one tonight, man. Always is a good one. You call this one a great one, I guess. I always enjoy this, man. Most definitely. Next time we'll be here, it'll be next week. The finals don't start till June 5th, so we got some time until the finals start. So we'll just keep reacting to the playoffs. The NBA draft lottery, we can definitely get into that next week. We didn't get to react to that, unfortunately. We know the Dallas Mavericks are going to get Cooper Flag, so that can be a whole podcast on its own. We can talk about what teams we think are going to take who now that we officially have the draft order and our Hawks have the 13th picks. We can go back and forth what we think we might get as a late lottery pick. It's a lottery pick nonetheless, you feel me? So just a reminder, a lot of like I said, SGA was the 12th pick in the draft. Devin Booker was like the 15th pick in the draft. I think he himself was the 13th to Phoenix. Clyde Drexler was like the 14th pick in the draft, So, hey, Giannis Antetokounmpo was the 15th. I could go on and on. You feel me? We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Most definitely, for sure. But that's it for me on this Thursday night. I want to thank y'all for watching. Unless you got anything else you got to say, Garrett, most definitely.
Yeah, tonight was very fun. So just can't wait till we get closer to the NBA Finals, and go on from there.
Sure. God bless y'all. Enjoy some playoffs this weekend. And y'all stay safe. Most definitely. Thank y'all for joining us on the Uncommon Commentators. And y'all have a blessed one for sure.
One band, one sound. They give me my theme music. They give me my theme.